Show me your setup. I'm from Emerson College. I'm studying video editing. I'm a media arts production major, and my focus is in video editing and post-production in general. So I'm doing gaming. I'm also the content manager for Emerson Esports. I make content for them and edit videos for them and stuff. Ooh. And that's what I use my setup for.
Nice. Hi, folks. I'm Dan. He's Josh. And we're introducing Maggie to the whole crew today. Maggie, welcome to Show Me Your Setup.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
The casual observer might notice there's something different in my background today. It's this flag for Emerson College. Because I went to Emerson College, and Josh went to Emerson College, and we thought, you know what? We should pick from all of the people who have commented on all of our videos, somebody who went to Emerson College and likes our show, and invite them to join our show, and that's what we did. And we reached out to that person. We said, hey, you liked our show. Would you like to be on our show and share your setup? And Maggie said, yeah.
Yes, I'm from Emerson College.
Maggie, what do you do at Emerson?
I'm studying video.
Are you studying, or are you just playing?
Well, a little bit of both. I'm studying video editing. I'm a media arts production major, and my focus is in video editing and post-production in general. But I'm also a part of a bunch of different orgs, including Emerson Esports. So I'm doing gaming. I'm also the content manager for Emerson Esports. So I make content for them and edit videos for them and stuff. Ooh. And so that's what I use my setup for.
As Maggie was saying Emerson Esports, for the listeners in the audience only, I held up a hat that says Emerson Esports on it. It's a bucket hat. It's very cool. If you want to get your own, you'll have to look into that. I'm not going to help you with that because I got mine, and that's all that matters to me. So, Emerson Esports, fantastic. And video editing. Is this something you've been doing for a long time?
Well, I've been editing like random things since I was like little. I used to make silly videos with my sister, and we'd edit them on iMovie on like an iPad or on our grandmother's computer. But I got really interested in it back in 2020 when I finally got access to Premiere Pro, and I learned that I really, really enjoy it and that it might be something I want to pursue as a career in the future.
When you get into college and you're studying video editing, what are the perks? What do they allow you? What do they afford you? What do they offer you in terms of software? And is it a discount? Is it free?
Currently, I get entire Adobe suite free through my school. So I am currently using the Emerson Premiere Pro. There's also these really cool post-production labs at Emerson that I actually work at. And there you have like all the software and hardware that you need to edit. So it's like top of the line computers. All the software is already installed. So it has Premiere Pro, it has Avid Media Composer, DaVinci Resolve, anything you could possibly want to edit on. As long as you're taking a visual media arts class, you have access to that.
Okay.
So you have access to all the different software suites you want and the equipment to use it on.
Yes, I do. It's very great.
And in those suites, are they like the setups that we're using, or are they a little bit more elaborate? How many monitors is in each editing suite?
They usually have 3 monitors, 2 normal ones and then 1 color correction one. However, I think 2 of the suites also have like TVs above the monitors for an even like clearer, larger picture.
Fantastic. That sounds really neat and like something we'd like to investigate further maybe next semester when you're in school. Maybe you could take us on a tour of that lab.
Possibly.
I mean, you might have to ask for permission, and
yeah,
of course, we'd understand that.
I'd have to check with my boss, but it's definitely a possibility.
All right, let's leave the digital media lab behind and talk about the setup that you're currently using for all of the work that you do. And so currently you have a setup that involves, as I'm looking at some pictures that you provided to us, a laptop that's on a stand and a separate monitor. What is this laptop monitor setup used for primarily?
Primarily, I use it for video editing. I really like having 2 different monitors when I'm editing because I can have like the different windows open on different things, or I can have references open off to the side. As much as I love having a portable way to edit on my laptop, I prefer editing on a larger screen so I can like see more.
It's music to my ears, Maggie.
Josh and I can't stand tiny little screens all day. Like, we need a big monitor or 2 in front of us. you prefer having a big monitor for your editing and probably for gaming as well?
Oh, yeah. I also definitely use it for gaming. More competitive games, I tend to... Any game that I'd want to, like, play at my whole setup, I would use the monitor for. Sometimes, like, I will play games just, like, on my laptop, but those are usually, like, the less intense games. Like, one of my favorite games, Valorant, I really love playing it on the monitor because, like, whole setup, it's just easier.
It's very colorful, too.
It is. It's a very colorful game.
It's a vibrant, dynamic action game.
It's a first-person shooter, but with lots of, like, effects and lots of color. There's a lot going on. It's very confusing if you don't know how it works.
I'm curious, do you ever play Valorant without a headset? Do you play it with just speakers? Or because I'm guessing there's a lot of audio cues in that game.
Yeah,
You kind of need to hear stuff exactly where it's coming from.
Yeah, and you don't need, like, the delay of, like, a speaker getting to your...
And so what's your preferred headset?
Oh my gosh, I can't remember the name of it, but I have it
Razer
right here.
Kraken Ultimate?
No, that's where it gets interesting, Josh. She has so many headsets, I didn't even know.
I have two headsets. I have this Razer Kraken Ultimate, which is a good headset, but I think when we got it got the large version or something because it's way too big on my head. Like, it doesn't suction around my ears properly.
It's kind of music to my ears. Because it means...
I've told you you can have it if you want.
I know. But I suppose I should point out for the audience the relationship between us at some point. Or maybe not. Keep everyone in the dark.
But this one is the headset I currently use.
So it's wireless?
It is.
With no latency?
No. It has a little USB stick that you plug in.
So it's USB, not Bluetooth?
Yeah.
Cool.
That's key, right?
Kittens moving around by my feet.
So you have a Bluetooth headset. I mean, a USB, wireless USB headset.
Don't play with
wireless.
Yeah.
And kittens, by the way.
And
so while Maggie's talking to us, she has two little kittens. This one is Ender Dragon.
Yeah.
Who just came on screen.
Hey, hi.
Ender Dragon is always fighting the demons. And her sister, Juniper.
From Minecraft.
Juniper is always being cute.
Yes. I don't know if Juniper is around.
Juniper's the big, fluffy, gray thing. Ender Dragon is darker gray with little stripes on her back.
And they love playing with wires.
They love playing with wires.
And I kind of ended up leaving a lot around because I was trying to set up the microphone and the camera.
So they're having a field day.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they could be locked out of your room if need be. But that would take all the fun out of life.
But they're so cute.
Always keep the kittens around.
They're part of my setup at this point.
They are.
They love sitting with me while I edit. Ender especially loves sitting on my wrist, the one that I use for my mouse, to make things just a little bit more difficult. She's now behind my monitor.
You know what Maggie could probably use in the not too distant future would be a Digma Defy split keyboard, because then the cats could be in between her hands, happily chilling out while she's typing.
Speaking of keyboards, do you want me to talk about mine?
Absolutely.
I think it's the oldest part of my setup that I still use. That being said, it isn't that old. It's just the one that I haven't, like, updated yet. It's...
the Razer Ornata Chroma?
Yes.
Well, the nice thing about the Razer Ornata Chroma is that it's a wired keyboard.
Yes.
With mechanical switches, I'm guessing. Nice clicky.
Yes.
And they're fully RGB?
Yes. I can customize it. Usually it's purple because purple's my favorite color. It's also the Emerson color, which works out really well.
Got my LEDs fading through purple, even as you said that. Now they've gone to red, but...
And it's full size. Sorry, I need to get the cat off the shelf.
Oh, sure. That's fine. For those in the listening audience, Maggie's pausing the conversation because she has a cat on a shelf where it doesn't belong, and she has to discipline it. She has to remove it from the shelf because that's just not a place for a cat to be.
Anyway, what I was saying...
step away from a sewing kit. Yes?
It is a full-size keyboard, which is really nice because it allows me to have, like, extra buttons while I'm editing. I tend to prefer the full-size keyboards. I know, since it's a gaming keyboard, a lot of gamers prefer having, like, a smaller one, like a 50% or like a 75% or whatever percent. But I prefer having the full size because I like having all, like, the extra buttons and, like, the number pad and everything.
Yep. I'm lost without a number pad on my keyboard. When I use a laptop that doesn't have one, I get so slow when I'm doing addresses and things. Phone numbers, I'm looking and pecking instead of just randomly hammering away at the number pad, because I did data entry back when I was younger, and I'm very fast with a number pad, but other parts of the keyboard I'm not as fast.
I'm not great at using the number pad for numbers. I more use it for just like hotkeys for stuff.
Hotkeys, of course.
In Premiere and other editing softwares.
Well, it's a great little grid that you can feel, and you know where you are on it, so it's easy to program additional keys.
Mm-hmm. It is very nice.
Have you found that it's very easy to port your Premiere keyboard shortcuts from device to device? Do you save it in the cloud or?
Right now, I'm not using any custom ones. Okay. I was at one point, but I couldn't remember most of the time how to like get it from one device to another. So I stopped using those.
So you're using the defaults?
Yeah. But I've gotten very used to using the defaults. I've gotten very used to using them.
Good.
Sorry, kittens. I might be good to get them out of my room.
Okay. Feel free. If you can collect them both.
This one's Juniper.
There's Junie.
So cute. Love gray cats.
It's the first long-haired cat in the house.
Both of them.
I love black cats.
We've never had a long hair. We've only had short-haired cats.
Yeah, me too.
It's going to be exciting. So, folks, while Maggie is escorting the kittens out, I'll tell everyone that she's my daughter. I've known her for her entire life, conveniently enough.
Okay.
Welcome back.
No more kitten distraction for me.
No more kitten distractions that we know of.
That we know of.
All right, so we've talked about headphones. We've talked about your keyboard. We've talked about, well, we haven't talked specifically about your laptop.
No, we haven't.
Why don't we tell everyone the key, the most important part of the whole setup would be your Razer Blade 15.
Yes, it is a really nice laptop. I really like it. It runs everything that I need it to really well. A lot of people don't like gaming laptops because they don't have like the longest lifespan, and some of them do not work well at all. But I found that it works really well for me because I can bring it back and forth from school. I can like play video games anywhere, but it also runs like all the editing softwares I use incredibly well. Like I'm able to use After Effects on it without any issue for the most part.
Nice.
It runs it very smoothly, which is really impressive for a laptop.
Have you ever installed DaVinci Resolve on it?
No, I haven't, but I've been thinking about it. Because I like using DaVinci Resolve for color correction.
Okay.
It's very good at that.
I've just gotten familiar with Fairlight for the audio, and I'm excited about how much, all the possibilities for doing audio correction within Fairlight in DaVinci Resolve. It's powerful stuff.
Yeah, because DaVinci Resolve is like, there's a free version of it. Like, it's really good for being free.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Probably the best for free.
Yeah, definitely.
The only real limitations on the free version are you can't do 4K video and a few other things, but for lower end stuff, it's fantastic. And if you want to upgrade, just pay for it and get the whole suite.
Yeah.
All of the features.
Maggie, I'm curious. First of all, I love that you understand that your hardware is working really well for you, for gaming and for video editing. Tell me if I'm wrong by saying this. A lot of young people who aren't in a video editing program like at college, like you are, don't necessarily think about the hardware in video editing. So I'm wondering, in your experience, have you found yourself ever in your life limited by hardware when you're trying to edit video?
Yes. Before I got this laptop, I think the first computer that I tried like editing more intense video on was just like an old office computer. And that was very laggy. It didn't work very well, but I still powered through. And then the one after that, I think it worked a little better. It was still pretty laggy. One of the two of them, I remember editing a video that I made to specifically submit to college applications. And every single time I wanted to like watch it back and like see what edits I needed to make, I had to export it because the playback was so laggy in the software.
I've experienced that.
And it was incredibly annoying. And I'm so glad I don't have to do that anymore. But
so within the editor, you can play and get smooth Video playback.
Yes.
Nice. I don't think I've actually sat down at a computer that can do that. I haven't used a good video editing rig myself.
Yeah. Now I don't think I'd be able to handle that because I've gotten so used to this and then using the high-end computers like at my job at school that like if I tried to use like something like I used back in high school, I'd just quit. I couldn't.
Maggie, I assume that there are budding video editors watching this. What would you tell them are the most important things to think about if they're starting to think about a setup for themselves?
Probably get yourself a computer that has enough RAM and can like run editing software pretty well. I know usually MacBooks are a really good go-to for video editing. Apple computers, that's what they use at school, at Emerson, for like video editing. I just use a gaming laptop because I also play video games and it works well for me. But making sure it has like enough RAM.
I think you're exactly right that gaming laptops have the specs. And then I've heard there are creator laptops. So maybe if folks looked into one of those two categories.
Mm-hmm. I just know that looking for something that either a laptop that says it can specifically do video editing, or if you're looking more in the Apple section, getting a MacBook Pro specifically. So that'll be good enough to run stuff. Because I know plenty of people who use MacBook Pros that edits pretty well. Oh, I would also recommend if you're going to be editing on a laptop, get yourself some sort of wireless mouse. Because it is so hard to edit on like a trackpad. Like, it's one of my biggest pet peeves is sometimes I will try and edit on a trackpad, but I always get so frustrated. So even when I'm editing just on my laptop and not with like a whole setup, I still make sure I have my mouse with me because it just makes things 10 times easier.
You're an advocate for someone with a laptop plugging in a couple devices to make everything easier and even travel with those devices.
Yeah.
Keep them in your bag.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be anything like crazy either. You can just like go probably a dollar store and like get like a probably can't swear, I'm guessing, a low quality mouse.
You can swear and we can edit.
Or
okay, or a little mouse. It doesn't have to work well.
You could also just point out to your father that your little mouse had broken, and you could really use a wireless mouse. And he might point out, you know, I happen to have something that I picked up for my laptop that I'm not currently using. It's called the Razer Basilisk V3 Pro. Would you like to maybe borrow it? And then you'll say, that's actually the mouse I wanted to buy. Thank you.
Yes, crazy enough. Before I got a laptop, I was using a wired mouse. I still have it, and I was using it earlier. But I don't like using a wired mouse with my laptop because it's just awkward having to use a wired thing like on top of a laptop. Don't love it. So, conveniently enough, my dad had the exact same mouse that I had, but the unwired version, and he wasn't going to use it. And it was the same mouse that I was looking to buy for myself. It isn't this one. I don't know where the one he gave me was. This is a newer model that I got this past year for Christmas from my grandmother because I wanted one that was a little bit newer and had better connectivity. It's a little bit heavier too, but it's like still the same model, just a newer version. So I keep getting like the same model of mouse. I just really like it.
Seem to be a big fan of the Razer line.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. It integrates well, and a lot of it can color code. Yeah.
And because I have a Razer laptop, it makes sense to just, because all the tech works well with the laptop.
Yeah.
I've talked to some of my gamer friends about what they use. I have one in particular who does not like Razer, like absolutely hates Razer and prefers like, I think Logitech, but like, I enjoy Razer. Maybe if I tried something else, I'd like it more. But at this point, I like just having like, it's all
continuity
Razer.
Of
it all works well
one
together.
Brand across all things. Speaking of brands, one of the things that we do at ModPod is we help businesses to broadcast their brand through podcast. I'm not so eloquent about saying it. Josh, you're much better at saying this thing.
We produce branded podcasts for businesses.
And that's the point. You know, brand loyalty is a good thing sometimes. I like Razer products. I have a Razer mouse pad. But I lost my mouse, apparently. It was sad. But that's okay. I wasn't using it because I was using my Logitech MX Master, and I love my Logitech MX Master because it just fits my hand. And sadly, I'm going to have to get a new one because this one is literally falling apart. The little thumb button is kind of worn through, and so there's a little, I feel this little gap in the rubber, and it's not comfortable. It still functions perfectly, but, you know, it's also old enough that it shows those grease stains. You know, people, the little stains. They're not stains, it's the worn away plastic. Yeah. So I'm going to have to get a new one of these and put this in the spare zone soon. But speaking of brands and Razer and the love of the Razer products, that's fantastic. Unfortunately, I don't think you have a Razer side monitor. I think that thing is something different. Is that the LG27GN750B?
Yes.
All right.
I really do not know much about this monitor, other than I was using this teeny tiny monitor that was really, really old at the start of the school year. And
really
my friend,
heavy, I think.
Really heavy, really poor graphic
Ancient
quality.
Dell monitor. Very
Not
old.
great. Not good. My friend came into my room, took one look at the monitor and was like, Maggie, what is that? You actually use that? And then about a week later, they told me that they were planning on getting a new monitor when I like their old one. And I said, well, yes, of course. So they kindly gifted me this monitor, which works incredibly well for both gaming and for video editing, I found.
Yeah, fantastic. And you've already described how it benefits your workflow because you can see things bigger and better, and you have a second monitor for probably color pickers and other things or whatever, tools and whatnot, but you've got your main monitor for all the graphics because everything you do is visual, be it video editing or video gaming.
Yes.
So the bigger the monitor, the better. I'm guessing your friend got a larger monitor still.
They got, like, I'm pretty sure a newer version of this monitor because they really like this monitor series.
Nice.
So they got a better version of this.
Yeah,
Once again, brand loyalty.
Sure.
Makes
Right?
a lot of sense. Sorry, Josh, you were saying?
yours is 27 inches, which is still a sweet spot for gaming. People love that. Do you know the refresh rate on that? And do you think about refresh rate at all when you're gaming? Because some people are obsessed with it.
Yeah, I don't. The friend who gave it to me definitely does, and they probably told me.
Okay.
I don't know a whole lot about monitors. They helped me set it up and made sure everything was like
Dialed
good
in.
and perfect.
From what I know, the relationship is with your GPU. Your GPU determines, and your CPU determines how fast your games will run, how many frames per second. Yeah, how does higher frame rate benefit your gaming? It must, right?
I think so.
It must help
I
with
think
reaction
you can probably
time.
shoot somebody before they can shoot you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure it has to do with like reaction time, like the smoothness of what you're seeing and everything. I think I don't really like pay much attention to it because I was using such a old monitor that didn't have like the best refresh rate and frame rate and stuff. So I didn't really think about it too much. Heard somewhere that like some people can really notice a difference in how many like frames they're getting in their game, like a higher frame rate versus a lower frame rate, and some people like can't. And I'm pretty sure I'm just one of the people who can't. Like at a certain point, it really doesn't matter to me.
It's when you look into the flames. If there are flames on screen, if they look super realistic, you've got incredible frame rate. And if it just looks kind of like pixelated, not as good. According to something I saw recently. So I'm curious. I remember watching a stream or a cast of your team playing another school's team in a competitive round of
Valorant,
and you actually swept the entire thing. Your team did not lose a single round.
I remember
What is it,
that.
15 rounds and then a break and another 15 rounds or something?
Yeah.
Yeah, so 30 different sessions of running in and shooting, and you won every single one of them. We were absolutely fascinated by it. I'm wondering, were you using this monitor or an older monitor at the time?
I think I was using this one.
So it would be an indication that a faster response time in your monitor maybe helps for super excellent gaming.
Maybe. And also having really good teammates.
That helps
Because
too.
my teammates are incredible, and they definitely did amazing that game too. So it's a mix of things.
should we just finish out your setup? Should we talk about your mic and camera and tell people how you use those in your gaming? Your cooperative gaming and competitive.
The camera, I only usually pull it out if I'm like on like a call or something and like I need a camera, because having my laptop camera isn't the best because it's off to the side and it's at a weird angle, so it looks really awkward. So having like an external camera that I can plug in and like put on top of my monitor, or on this case on top of a water bottle, so it's at eye level with me, is really helpful.
Could you evangelize and tell people that are in a lot of meetings why they should consider what you've considered?
Just so it looks more normal and natural, and you're not like looking awkwardly up at someone or awkwardly down at someone. Anytime I'm on like a Zoom call or something and I'm not using my setup, I still try to be at like eye level with my laptop.
You'll physically
camera.
move your laptop around so that it's at eye level.
Yes, because I don't want it looking up at me, because it's weird. It looks weird.
Yes.
Yes.
Or alternatively, because it's on a water bottle right now, so it's not on top of my monitor, because that would be looking down at me, and that also looks really weird.
Because I think that's important for people. Your appearance is important as you're in so many virtual meetings, video conferences. Yeah.
Oh, and
so
then
for
the microphone.
Gaming,
I've only really started using the microphone again recently. Right now, I haven't been using it so much because it plugs in with a USB cord into my laptop, and I don't have enough USB ports while I'm gaming because I need to plug my headphones in.
So would your setup benefit from a USB expander, like, something with like 6 more slots powered?
Definitely.
I know other people that have setups that are limited by lack of ports. And that's what we've recommended for them. Like, well, why don't you just add one of these things that expands, like gives you 4 or 5 more ports?
Yeah, I probably should get one.
If it's powered, then it usually helps.
I'll look into that.
For people who don't know anything about gaming, like, why is a microphone so important? Like, in terms of teams?
It's really important because you need to be able to hear the other person, like your other teammates. You need to be able to like communicate with them well, so you know like what's going on and what you're doing. Kind of like a regular sport, where you need to be talking with your teammates. Yep. Same thing with gaming, especially if it's something where you can't see what's going on, like your teammates are in a different like section, or like you can't see what they're seeing, them being able to communicate like what they're seeing to you. So having a good microphone and also a good headset so you can hear what's going on and you can like clearly and effectively communicate with your teammates is really important.
And in this case, we're talking about the Razer Seiren.
Yes.
All right, so Maggie's speaking to a Razer Seiren, which is also a USB plug-in microphone. And it's cute. It looks like a little desk mic. I think
it came free with the camera, or the camera came free with the microphone. I don't remember which.
I believe the mic came free with the camera.
I think so. It's really good. I like it. It's nice and portable.
In terms of communicating with the team and while you're playing, and just in esports in general, and communication around esports, what's your involvement in a club at Emerson?
I think I mentioned it earlier. I'm the content manager right now for Emerson Esports. I became the content manager at the very end of last school year, so I haven't done too much yet, but I have edited videos for them. I'm planning content to make next semester. That's what I do, but I'm also on one of the Valorant teams, Emerson College Celestial, and it's an all-woman and non-binary Valorant team. And I really enjoyed that.
Oh, one thing you said you've done some videos. I was wondering if we could share any examples of your work.
Yeah, I just got my website, my portfolio up and running. It's maggiejnelson.com. And I have a lot of what I've worked on that website. So I have videos that I've edited for esports, videos that I've edited just for school, everything, basically.
And you might have 1 or 2 short videos that are your favorites, or that are good examples of what you can do, that you could, like, share right here. Careful, nice! Nice! And also right here.
Don't get me wrong, you're very smart in your own way, but you're not processing whatever Iris is doing over here. Like,
this isn't the 5D chess match.
This isn't This is between
This is wizard versus wizard.
Yeah, this is between 2 older people that like see each other for what they're doing, you know?
I know the games you play.
Like
Two Ice Queens.
Yeah. It is. It's the battle of Ice Queens.
For your role as content manager at school, how many groups are you responsible for? How many different groups can come to you with their requests and their needs?
Basically anyone in like esports, like it's mostly making content for esports. So anything like I come up with, or there are content assistants, like usually one or two, who like help out with like running stuff, and then a content team to help make stuff and produce stuff for Emerson Esports. And that sort of stuff like goes up on the Emerson Esports YouTube channel, also in charge of running the live streams in the Twitch channel for Emerson Esports. So anyone can like basically give ideas of what we should make about the teams or about like the game nights or anything that the club does, basically.
Are you overwhelmed yet in that role?
Not yet.
All right.
Thankfully. But I also haven't fully started yet. I'll really be like undertaking everything start of next semester.
Okay.
But that's why there's like so many people who like work underneath content managers, like delegation and stuff.
Yeah.
Among your teammates, do you know if they have a preference for PC versus other? Like, do you know anyone who games on a MacBook Pro?
No.
Okay. So I think it's clear in my head. Oh, you do?
That's a lie. My roommate Maggie only has a MacBook. I don't even think it's a Pro. We'll play Baldur's Gate 3 on it. It sounds like it's going to explode. But she can, so she does. And any other game she can find that can go on a MacBook, like, she'll play it on there.
So she will, but with your competitor gamer friends, everyone's on a PC. Yeah,
because most of the games you can't run on Mac. They can only run on Windows.
I think that had a lot to do with your decision to go the PC route over MacBook Pro when it came, because you knew you were going to do video editing, and you knew you could do it on either platform, but you knew you couldn't play your games on a MacBook Pro like you could. Yeah. And also, you probably can't put Steam on a MacBook Pro.
You can?
Maybe you can. I don't know.
But you can only get limited games on it.
Again, it's a limiting factor, so I can see why we go the PC route. What other question did I have? Oh, I wanted to know if there are things in particular you'd like to promote or talk about.
Well, I think I already mentioned my website. I am
MaggieJNelson.com.
Yes, MaggieJNelson.com.
That's what I heard, MaggieJNelson.com.
I guess if you also want to follow me on Twitter, it's at Mellumi, MELLUMII. I mentioned that just because it's related to like professional stuff that I'm trying to get into, which freelance editing. I have started doing freelance video editing. Okay. So if you or somebody you know is in need of an editor, check out my website. I think that's it.
Perfect. That's all I needed to know. Josh, you said you had a question.
Yeah, I would like to go on this question left to right as I'm seeing the people. So I'm going to start with myself because I'm on the left. Maggie, my favorite experience at college was hours and hours spent at WERS, your radio station. Mm-hmm. Dan, what was your favorite experience?
Oh, yeah, probably the same. You know, being a host, it was a toss-up, actually. It was still ERS, but it was between hosting Bluesology and running live studio mixes in Studio C, miking bands, running the board, capturing it all, hoping that I did a good job so I didn't, like, mangle the sound of this wonderful performance as I put it out on the airwaves.
Yeah.
Mine...
How about you, Maggie?
I do have a sweet mate who works at WRS, and she loves it. However, my favorite experience... I really don't know, honestly. Oh. I think it's hard because I'm, like, still there and, like, still experiencing.
You're new.
And I really love everything that I've been doing. There's so much that I'm, like, looking forward to doing. Like, this past semester, I edited some shows for Emerson Channel. One of the shows I edited, it was called Hit Point Hall. It's like a D&D show. I enjoyed it so much that I really want to work in studio for that one next semester. And I'm also taking a TV studio production class next semester. So like that's something that I'm really looking forward to, but haven't done yet. I've really enjoyed my job and like being around like other editors. I enjoy everything that I do with my friends, Emerson Esports, like everything. So it's like, it's really hard for me to pick a favorite thing right now. Maybe ask me again after I've graduated and I'll have like a specific answer, but while I'm still in the middle of it, it's difficult.
Have you found that you find more like-minded people at Emerson than you did at your high school?
Yes, very much.
Do you feel like Emerson is your people?
Yes. Because I'm from such a small town, there's no like film sort of stuff at my school. Everything that I learned about video editing prior to college, I like taught myself. There was nobody else who was like super interested in it at the time. So now I feel like I'm surrounded by a lot more people who are interested in the same stuff as me and have the same career goals as me. So it's really cool, like talking with other people, getting advice, giving advice. It's really great.
Perfect.
Yeah. That's the word.
I mean, that's how I felt when I was at Emerson. I felt like I'd found the right place where I could finish, because I went to a few schools, but I didn't really settle and I didn't really focus on my learning until I got to Emerson. And then I was just in the zone, because that's exactly what I wanted to be studying. That's exactly what I wanted to be doing. And everyone else there is like-minded. Everyone at Emerson is passionate. And the few people who go to Emerson and aren't tend to leave the school without graduating. They go somewhere else because it's not for them. But Emersonians are just like driven, in my experience.
Yeah. There's definitely a really big culture there of like doing as much as you possibly can while you're there. Like constantly being busy working on something. And sometimes that is really great because you get so many different like really fun experiences, but sometimes it gets a little stressful because it's like, oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. But I do really like it.
Want to remind folks, this is Show Me Your Setup, where we geek out at other people's setups. And we're joined by Maggie Nelson. And thank you so much for talking to us today about your setup. I'm not wrapping up, just saying thank you, because it's been great. And if folks like the path that Maggie took, where she left a comment on our YouTube videos and we invited her on the show, you can do the same thing too. The easiest thing is to probably comment on our YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@GoModPod. You can tell us about your setup, what you're into. You can send us a couple photos and we can just have a discussion going about what are you going to be most comfortable with. Do you want to appear like Maggie has done and be on camera with us? Would you rather do audio only? Do you want to fly us through your setup with your camera? Do you want to send us pictures and we'll talk about the photos that we see? It's all up to you. So join us and show me your setup.
Yeah. Show me your setup. I want to see it. And for anyone who's been listening and heard all about it and wants to know more, in the show notes, you'll see show notes, description, whatever we call that, like block of text that you can access. You'll see all of these products we talked about mentioned just so you can find them for yourself. You'll also find the links to Maggie's various socials, her website, her Twitter, maybe even her LinkedIn profile if she wants. It could all be there.
Yep.
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah.
If you need some video editing done right, she's available.
I am.
Our podcast, our audio podcast, is available at our website, which is gomodpod.com. You'll see a podcast section. As Dan said, we work at ModPod. We produce branded podcasts for business. We can help you brand and conceive your podcast, and then we can be with you during the recordings. We can help you get your guests set up in studio prep sessions. We can edit, and we can publish for you. Speaking of podcasts, Mandy, are you into listening to podcasts at all? I said Mandy.
You did. That was awesome.
You look a lot like Mandy and Dan.
Crazy. I wonder why.
Maggie, do you listen to podcasts?
On occasion. I'm more of a short form content enjoyer, but I do like listening to podcasts sometimes when I'm falling asleep.
Yep. Same.
And I'll like half watch them on YouTube, half listen to them. I do like having like the visual aspect of podcasts too. I think it's more engaging for me that way. But I also know a lot of people who like just listening to podcasts on whatever app they may watch, like listen to it on.
Can you tell me about your sleep setup with podcasts?
Usually I'll just put my phone somewhere by my head.
Oh.
If I'm at school, I'll have like an AirPod in and it'll be on my desk. My desk is like right next to my bed. Here I'll play it like out loud, just on my phone.
Okay. Oh, I have a question. Your dad and I have talked about our setups. We're always super interested when one does something cool and adds something cool to it. Have you seen your dad's setup? Have you taken notice? And do you have any advice for him? Have you ever offered advice for him on his setup?
I don't think so. Okay. I love his setup. It's really great. And I think there's always so much going on whenever I see it, and it's always a little bit different because I don't go up to his office a lot.
Okay.
But every single time I do, there's like something slightly different. I think I did give him a ring light for his setup for this podcast.
And I headed off this entire episode because it was so bright in here I didn't need it. And I didn't need the rings in my eyes. Here it's off, here it's on. Here it's off, here it's on. Here's we're changing color. But also, you provided me with a laptop stand the other day, which I've added. So now I actually have a laptop over here if I need it, which is kind of handy.
I did do that. Because I haven't been using my laptop stand. Part of my setup is I got this like wooden half box thing from Amazon to put my laptop on.
Like a very tiny table.
And I was originally going to put the laptop stand on that and then put my laptop fan on the laptop stand, but then that made it too high. So I've just been using my laptop fan like raised a little bit like a laptop stand. And that works really well. But laptop fan is also something that is really important to my setup because my laptop gets so hot with like gaming and stuff and like video editing that I need that extra fan underneath it just to keep it cool. Something I bought for like $20 on Amazon, I think.
But that's a good piece of advice for people using laptops for intense videographic performance, be it video editing or video gaming. You're going to want to have a fan under there to keep things cool.
There is one more part of my setup that I want to talk about.
Yeah.
I think it's like the last bit is my mouse pad. Now, normally for gaming, people like having like the very big mouse pads.
Yep.
Both here and at school, I don't have the desk space for that, so I have to use a smaller one. I got this one off of Shutterfly. I think that's the photo.
Yep.
I went on the app one day to like get their like free prints, just pay for shipping type thing. And I saw they had mouse pads and they just like auto inserted one of the photos from my camera roll on it. And it was so funny. It's a picture of my favorite character from the show, The Owl House, Hootie. I don't know if you can see that very well.
Oh,
nice.
And it says, enjoy every moment. And it's just, I think it's really funny. I love it. I've showed it to other fans of the show. They also love it. It's not the best mouse pad, but I'm too attached to it. It has meaning.
It has personal meaning, and therefore it gives you comfort whenever you use it.
Mm-hmm. Maybe
and that's one of the most important things about a setup, is making it personal.
Yes. Another part of my setup that I just remembered that isn't gaming related, it's video editing related.
Is it the orange hard drive?
It's my hard drive.
Mm.
Oh my goodness, I meant to ask about your hard drive. Yeah, it's the orange one. That's the thing.
I don't know how to pronounce the brand name correctly. I've heard it pronounced so many different ways, but that's the hard drive.
What size is it?
2 terabytes.
Nice.
Love this hard drive.
It looks durable, like rugged.
It is very rugged. And I have this little case for it so I don't lose it. It also keeps my SD cards. And this is an important part of my setup because when I'm at school, I go back and forth between editing on my laptop and editing on the computers at my work. So I need a way to store what I'm editing. So I edit off of this a lot. And it isn't the most efficient way to edit. It's better to edit if it's all on the computer, like if all your footage and everything's on the computer. However, this has worked incredibly well for me.
Is that USB 3.0?
Yes.
Does it require power?
No, it just draws power from the laptop.
Okay.
Or whatever it's
so it draws from the laptop. And you put everything you need for a given project into, what, one folder on the hard drive?
Yes.
Oh, I'd love to see that folder structure.
As long as every single file you're using is on the hard drive and not on your computer, then, like, it works. So you have to save the project to the hard drive.
Yeah.
And you have to make sure every, like, video, every asset you're grabbing lives on the hard drive and not on your computer. That way you can just like carry it around. Like otherwise it will have like the missing media if you're trying to use it on a different computer.
Yep. Awesome.
I think that's it for my setup, honestly.
And on that note, folks, once again, we're Show Me Your Setup, and that's it for her setup, because it's time to get out of here and do some other things, like either game, or edit video, or produce content, or...
Play with kittens?
Play with kittens. Time to play with kittens. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dan.
I'm Josh.
I'm Maggie. Thanks for having me.
Bye!